We welcome you to a gorgeous St. Vincent and the Grenadines afternoon from Kingstown and the cricket venue, Arnos Vale Stadium. It's St. Vincent and the Grenadines welcoming Nicaragua. Mike Watt's happy to welcome you. Rain should stay out of the forecast, thankfully, for this game. There is a pretty strong wind, as you can see, however. Temperatures will begin in the mid-80s and gradually decline as the afternoon continues. This game is in League B Group C. Nicaragua sits at the top alongside, surprisingly, the Bahamas. Trinidad and Tobago fell against Nicaragua in the opener, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines fell at the Bahamas. It is a hugely intriguing game in the sense that Nicaragua has quite clearly made it known that they expect to make the Gold Cup, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines will try and get back into the preliminary round. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, founded in 1978. They sit in the lower quartile of the Concacaf rankings, and within FIFA, their ranking has improved mightily in recent years, but the Vincent Heat still have quite a lot of work to go. Meanwhile, for Nicaragua, they sit about the midway point of CONCACAF. They're 4 unbeaten going back to November, and they've made a real intent on attacking opponents. Marco Antonio Figueroa, the Chilean, taking over the side, and his official debut came against Trinidad and Tobago. Certainly, they came away pleased at the outset with a goal in stoppage time, and while an own goal put them on level terms to start the second half, an electrical blackout ultimately caused the match to be delayed briefly. Bonilla's game winner in the 78th put Nicaragua in fine position here in Group C. It'll be the Nations League anthem playing, and then the anthems for the two nations here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And a tremendous Group C fixture lays in store. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, who've reached the preliminary round of the most recent Gold Cup, return home and hope to return to prominence in this group on the second match day as they host Nicaragua this afternoon.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we invite you to please stand as we render the national anthems of our competing teams this afternoon in this Concacaf Nations League qualifying tournament. First off, the national anthem of the visiting team, Nicaragua. national anthem of St. Vincent.
This venue holds about 18,000. It's owned by the Windward Islands Cricket Board. Today, Arnos Vale Stadium in St. Vincent plays host to St. Vincent and the Grenadines taking on Nicaragua. Here's the lineup for the returning Kendall Mercury. He was still in isolation following a positive COVID test last time around. They've made major changes. Bess, Barnum, Bob, Anderson, Solomon, Francis, Spring, York, Jackson, Richards, all changes. The referee for this affair hails from Antigua and Barbuda, Ken Pennyfeather, capped 10 times for his native country and now plies his trade on the field in the center as a referee. The captains take their photos, and we meet the starting lineup for Nicaragua under Marco Figueroa. This is just the second game in which he's been the manager officially. Lopez enters in goal. The rest of their group largely unchanged from the last time out, their win against Trinidad and Tobago. Lineups being announced here at this venue. You can see the old cricket scoreboard, which exists in the outfield there, alongside the flags of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Nicaragua, and the Confederation of Concacaf. This game carries so much weight. It's also just the first of 7 today in CONCACAF Nations League. 41 teams. There's been 23 matches. We've averaged just over 2 goals a game. The question is whether one of these teams can either pull themselves up by their bootstraps and approach the top of the group, in the case of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, in the case of Nicaragua, put some significant distance between themselves, the Bahamas, Trinidad and Tobago, and St. Vincent. Clapping Juan Barrera, the captain, the all-time leading scorer for Nicaragua. Now they merely wait for the signal to begin the match on this very windy day in St. Vincent. St. Vincent, with all the COVID issues surrounding their team, happy to be closer to full strength in this game. And beyond that, happy to be back on their home ground. Can that be the impetus that drives them toward a 3-point performance in a group that still remains theirs for the taking? Ken Pennyfeather looks over. No time like the present in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We begin a very busy day of CONCACAF Nations League. Nicaragua visiting St. Vincent and the Grenadines. St. Vincent, the Grenadines wearing yellow for this game. Nicaragua in white. This is Barrera. Skips it inside. And Moldskred had hoped to put that on target. Chance will take over. Barnum Bob in reverse. Knotted down by Acevedo and taken on by Nino. Gutierrez. Further by Smith. Brought down by Richards. One of the returning players for St. Vincent, the Grenadines, not part of the roster for the opening game. That's going to be a fascinating thing to watch. Some coaches saying they're waiting for under 20 tournaments to conclude, and that perhaps they could bring in some younger players later in this window. Certainly in the case of injury or illness, the ability to make changes to your 23-man roster can provide a window into the manager's thinking. The next in line, so to speak. Moldskred. Bonilla. Bonilla, a little tricky and jazzy. Barnum Bob didn't care for it. Floated up Acevedo. Held up by Solomon. And here comes St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Space for Anderson. Anderson in behind brilliantly. There's a chance now. Solomon! Solomon with a perfect start for St. Vincent, the Grenadines. It's bedlam at the Arnos Vale Sporting Complex. Nicaragua's left stunned. The first attack for St. Vincent and the Grenadines is a glorious moment. It's a wonderful ball played through by Olex Anderson. And Solomon whisks it by Lopez. And we could be in store for an absolute shocker. Christian Gutierrez unable to get really any kind of touch, much less one that could pull the ball away. And St. Vincent and the Grenadines lead on their home ground inside 3 minutes. Covered by Barnum Bob. Well, Nicaragua went up against good competition in March. They weren't friendlies, so to speak. They did play exhibition matches against teams from Mexico. Held strong in those games, Necaxa, Puebla, and San Luis. And the new manager, Marco Antonio Figueroa, theoretically had high hopes for this opening Nations League window. Two players' heads collide, and the athletic trainers from both sides make their approach. Bonilla and Spring. Spring back up and moving, playing in the Polish 4th division after providing such wonderful play. Midfielder of the year, young player of the year in the domestic league in St. Vincent. And the argument from Byron Bonilla, there was an elbow involved in that. It didn't appear malicious. Bonilla playing in Costa Rica. It's part of a bright Nicaraguan moment. The 78th minute match winner against Trinidad and Tobago. Kind of goal that will go in whether the lights are on or not. Touched away with Solomon on rushing by Reyes. Also plays in Costa Rica, Perez Zeladon. He and Bonilla, the only two playing in Costa Rica, this Nicaraguan team, as constituted at least. Away from Olex Anderson. Barnum Bob. Header thrust out by Acevedo. Corner to St. Vincent, the Grenadines. Corner to St. Vincent, caught by Alier Lopez. And his distribution is off the mark. Richards. Stewart. Cornelius Stewart trying to get to the end line. Kevin Francis circles back. Chance on a bouncing ball. Free kick, St. Vincent, the Grenadines. You know, this is a St. Vincent side that, yes, they come off a loss at the Bahamas. That's a game they certainly anticipated picking up all 3 points. But their World Cup qualifying campaign was a bit of a thud. They did beat the British Virgin Islands, but then if you look at the last decade, who hasn't beaten the British Virgin Islands? Disappointment at Curacao and Guatemala, a combined 15 negative goal difference. That's a clean strip of the ball, Anderson. Now, he argued for it, and indeed, it is a free kick. Henry Nino caught him from behind. In theory, St. Vincent and the Grenadines don't look all that threatening, yet you watch them play, and there is such a competitive spirit among the bunch. And they've got some of their, call it golden generation, still featuring for the group. Some newcomers from the Vincentian League and beyond give some optimism to the locals. York. That wind is going to play a hazardous role. Aaron Jackson trying to push this away. Ball thrust forward. Goalkeeper came out, wasn't able to get anything on it at all. Settled, turning Smith, and teed it up for Acevedo. Pinballs around Bonilla. Tough slide in, Barnum Bob. Play stopped, handball. You can't help but feel a little hard done there if you're Switkiano. See that flag is dragging a bit toward this side of the stadium. So a little bit at Nicaragua's back. Acevedo. Turned over in that threaded well outside the needle. A bit of frustration from Nicaragua. Acevedo, Reyes, and now Lopez. Nicaragua's gone to the Concacaf Championship on 5 occasions, 3 times in the Gold Cup era. They've never won a group stage match. 0-9. You finish top of this group, direct qualification into the upcoming Gold Cup next summer. Finish second, you face the very fate of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Reach the preliminary round only to see their hopes decimated by COVID and visa issues. Reyes. Barrera couldn't maintain it. It does stay with Nicaragua. Nicaragua had positives from their World Cup qualifying campaign cut short. 7-0 at Turks and Caicos. They defeated Belize 3-0, only to fall in Haiti. That brought about the new administration overseeing the national team. Chiano. Acevedo. Fanning out the Vincentian attack. Olix Anderson looking for the same ball that previously unleashed Solomon. It was DL Spring up front that time. If you've tuned in a few minutes late, you were in fact a few minutes late. Senor Solomon in the 3rd minute opening the scoring for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It's a wonderful leave off. Guiano. A return from the captain denied. Barrera second time. And that shot is well blocked by St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Jazzy Barnum Bob's been quite busy. Bonilla. Nino. Gutierrez. Chiano. Smith. Falls right to Barrera. A clearance ultimately slashed a bit further than Solomon had a chance for. Quarter hour gone. This is League B, Group C. Nicaragua, a win over Trinidad and Tobago, put themselves top of the group. The Bahamas, by way of a penalty, overtaking St. Vincent and the Grenadines in their opener. Leslie St. Fleur in the 68th minute a few days ago. Anderson. See Byron Bonilla there. Born in Nicaragua, moved to Costa Rica at 9 years old. Didn't really start playing competitively until he was 16, and now 12 years later, the first game his mom was ever able to watch him play for the national team. He scored the winner against Trinidad and Tobago over the weekend. Skips by, Moreno continues to chase. And that's going to hang up in that wind from Chance. Bonilla. Moldskred. Moldskred did get the cross away, and that's a delicate clearance, one that left a bit of danger. Did too much there from Barrera. Stewart pushes through. Solomon. Solomon said he kept it in. The AR agrees. Floated in Anderson's direction. Barrera further. Free kick, Nicaragua. Matthias Moldskred. Well, he's still looking for a whistle. It's never going to come. Reyes, Moldskred now has played his professional career in Norway. Deflects off of Bess. Best among those included in the revised 23-man roster, part of the provisional setup. And somewhat of a regular within St. Vincent and the Grenadines historically in Concacaf. That is part of the equation here for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Oh, what a ball thrust through, and Lopez off his line. Read Solomon well there. There are some players that didn't feature last time around that have significant experience, including Spring, who nearly sprung Solomon. Richards. Bonilla. Gutierrez floated ahead. Brought down by Bess. Excellent. 20 minutes gone in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. A 1-0 lead for the home side over what has to be a shocked Nicaragua side, although they've conceded very little to this point. Solomon dishes that over the top. It's a wonderful setup. Stewart off the post. Cornelius Stewart, who wears the captain's armband, has been the face of St. Vincent and the Grenadines football, nearly doubled the advantage. And the deflection did him no favors. Early ball driven across Moreno. Bess. Dangerous ball intercepted. Moldskred trying to get in behind. Bonilla. Bonilla! There's the leveling goal. Byron Bonilla scores again for Nicaragua. St. Vincent, the Grenadines grab a massive opening blow, but Nicaragua has responded through the stick-to-itiveness of Bonilla. Massive moment, second goal of the tournament, just the fourth of his international career, and Nicaragua on level terms, just past the midway point of the opening half. Moreno, challenge chance from there. Well, here comes the danger for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. You go ahead on your first forward-facing attack of the game. You've created two good chances from extremely direct play. Nicaragua been better in possession than St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And in theory, St. Vincent and the Grenadines are playing into a more significant wind as well. The elements not in their favor. Jackson combining. This is going to roll over the far touchline. Early service steered in a way that's going to ask Lopez to make a save. A simple one at that. Bonilla. Navigating through the defense, and a foul from Richards. Richards had gotten fully turned. And a valuable free kick for Nicaragua. Juan Barrera, playing for Guastatoya in Guatemala, stands over the ball. He's the upright player with Bonilla to his left. For Barrera, tremendous success. Walter Ferretti, Real Esteli. This will be his 4th club in Guatemala, joining Guastatoya for the upcoming 2022 opening season, the Apertura. He did score against St. Vincent and the Grenadines in Nations League qualifying. These sides also drawn into the same group in Nations League B last time around. Bonilla, Barrera. Bass. Some of the success felt by some of the Caribbean nations in recent Gold Cups provides a good simmering undertone to this game. Barnum Bob, that stuck up for quite a while, and Jackson collides with Stewart. Allowing Lopez to take the ball. Nicaragua not really part of that equation, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines thrashed under horrifically unfortunate circumstances by Haiti in the preliminary round in 2021, Crown Jewel tournament for Concacaf. But these are considered countries on the ascendancy, both believing that this could be a magical ride for them, one that could see them into Nations League A and promotion by topping a group with a Trinidad and Tobago side that dropped the opening points and a Bahamian side that most expect very little from. Richards. Stewart. Thought Anderson would come back to the ball. Instead, he was through. Bass. Spring. Wonderful, clever effort to get that out of harm's way. Didn't make it all that far, however. Nino. And finally comes free to Bonilla. And Bonilla overtaken by Aaron Jackson. Referee Ken Pennyfeather hold the card for now. Oh, wonderful Moreno. Barrera. Smith. Bass got the last touch. Corner, Nicaragua. Stewart's been warned. No closer than the tick on the field. Stewart a bit overzealous, opening the door to the service over Reyes. who latched onto Anderson. Solomon. Dangerous if the right players had joined. Clipped out of play for a corner. The wind, in theory, should drag this away from goal and back toward the player. Zinho Solomon scored in the third. Hits the set piece. Best tried to leap for it. Falls for a blast from Richards. A second goal for Gutierrez. Through Reyes for Nicaragua. Nino. That is kept in. Acevedo, and now a late whistle. It appeared that was very much on the chalk. For St. Vincent, the Grenadines, they don't look for their first Gold Cup appearance. Runners up in the Caribbean Cup in '95, reached the Gold Cup in '96. Need to finish top two in this group. Either make the preliminary round, get the direct pass. Moldskred barrel rolls to ground. Foul from Francis, the free kick for Nicaragua. You don't blame Francis all that much. It's a reckless and unnecessary challenge. He didn't get all that much of the player in reality. Nevertheless, that wall being aligned here, Jadil Chance plays for Predators FC. A lone player on the St. Vincent the Grenadines roster that plays for the massive club on the island. Bonilla and Barrera over the ball. If you're going for goal with the wind whipping, it would be Bonilla, who scored from range last time out. Bonilla, this is clever. Moldskred looking for Barrera. A good slide by Richards. You don't see much of that, do you? Both players approaching the ball in unison. That's a bright little run. Nevertheless, Barrera returns. Bonilla. Barrera. Lofting, header snapped down, and chipped outside. Reyes remains down. Moreno was there as well. And There's a reach toward that left arm, and there looks to be some considerable pain. Reyes immediately called for the athletic training staff. Hopefully there's nothing too significant to see here. He tried to brace his fall out in front of him with that arm planting into the ground. Well, in theory, that's a decision that needs to be made quickly, and there's going to have to be a tactical shift for Nicaragua without their left center back on the field. And they're going right after it. Stewart very much let Nicaragua off the hook. It's really well worked in theory, and yeah, Stewart, he didn't know anything about that. Little tug of the shorts, play continues. Richards. Again, Stewart. Ill-conceived step. That's a dangerous twist from Reyes. Reyes goes down again. Good to see him back on the field. Bonilla. Barrera. Forward from Quijano. That's too far from the most capped player in Nicaragua's footballing history. Quijano's very career in jeopardy 9 years ago. Just over half a year, a motorcycle accident, a broken knee. Quijano jumping right back into the domestic, then international fold within a year. Remains still a major portion this Nicaraguan national team at the age of 31. There's the right back on the ball again. Smith twists back. Barrera. Moldskred. Moldskred. He's created the space. He's taken the shot. He's hit the post. Oh, has he put it in? He did. Moldskred, it's a brilliant finish. It's Nicaragua leading 2-1. Well, the bounce back into the field of play made this a bit of an awkward conclusion. But Moldskred, yeah, brilliant finish. It's off the back post inside the goal. And Nicaragua has grabbed the lead in this Nations League B Group C match. A bright finish by the Spanish-born Norwegian player, naturalized by Nicaragua last year. Well, now St. Vincent, the Grenadines, see some kind of response and a comeback here on their home ground. For Nicaragua, the complexion of the group has changed drastically from the 3rd-minute goal by Solomon to the equalizer by Bonilla, the go-ahead goal for Moldskred in the 41st. Moldskred dancing through, covered by Stewart, but taken back Barrera. Barrera could go from here, and Chance grapples with it and holds on. Stewart. Reyes aptly defending. Floated up by Richards. Falls in front, stabbed down. It's a good save, Lopez. Denies Anderson at the goal line. Bass trying to keep that in. St. Vincent, the Grenadines, nearly pull level. Again, the wind wreaks some form of havoc. The header down from Solomon, and Anderson denied by Lopez's outstretched cleat. 3 added minutes to this first half. 3 goals and a handful of injuries. Nino forward. Moreno. Bess. Seeking Stewart. Gutierrez. Another throw for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. They've seen their dream start turn into 40 minutes of a nightmare. Created 3 truly optimal chances, maybe more. Anderson. Corner to St. Vincent and the Grenadines in the final minute of the opening half. Corner, St. Vincent, the Grenadines. Skips by. Did Francis touch that last? It is another corner. About a minute here remaining, if that at all. We'll be able to see this out. Aaron Jackson. Jackson delivers. Stewart tried to poke it home. Back out Jackson. Jackson knocked down. And a free kick now for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. One would imagine a clearance for Nicaragua surely takes this to halftime in possession of a 2-1 lead. After the foul by Smith, any number of options here. To be honest, even if Ezinho Solomon is the one to hit this, he's the player aiming with his left foot to the right. He could try and lay this in front. That is an enormous amount of space being ceded by Lopez. Solomon went for goal with a touch, it's in! St. Vincent, the Grenadines on the stroke of halftime. Olex Anderson, the finish. 2-2. The pride of North Carolina FC in the United States. A kiss of the crest, an acknowledgement of the fans, and a gesture to the heavens. An equalizing goal for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. He provided on the first goal for Solomon. Now Solomon has returned the favor. It was so much space conceded by Lopez. But even within that, it's a baffling concession by Nicaragua seconds before halftime. One kick and the half is over. And the crowd here roars with approval. Nicaragua's frustration. They came from behind after Solomon's goal in the 3rd minute, with goals from Bonilla in the 22nd and Moltskred in the 41st. But Olex Anderson pulls things level here in St. Vincent. Halftime in this Nations League B Group C fixture. It is St. Vincent and the Grenadines 2, Nicaragua 2. Concacaf Nations League, St. Vincent, the Grenadines taking on Nicaragua. The opening whistle would see a Nicaragua side top of the group at the outset and hoping to advance their cause. The third minute was not kind. Ball forward from Anderson finds Solomon. It is effort from Gutierrez that comes up inches short of keeping the ball away on that. 1-0 to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Nicaragua was, frankly, the better team over the course of the 45 minutes. Their early finishing wouldn't have indicated that. Another ball over the top nearly allowed a second goal for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Wouldn't be for the captain, Cornelius Stewart. Moments later, Nicaragua strikes. Byron Bonilla in the 22nd minute, and it's 1-1. Handful of plays, a bit of physicality. Moldskred, 20 minutes after the opening Nicaraguan goal, would grab the second, and Nicaragua lead 2-1. It hits off the inside back post and bounces back out. Very clearly a good goal. 2-1. A series of corners followed by a free kick on the last interaction of the opening half, and a diving run across the face of goal and a delicate touch from Olex Anderson. The service by Solomon levels the score, 2 goals apiece. A look at the halftime statistics between St. Vincent, the Grenadines, and Nicaragua. St. Vincent, the Grenadines, they haven't had to possess the ball all that much, and their possession hasn't exactly been going through lines, but officially they've held more of the possession. They've created plenty of shots by way of direct play. They put 2 on target, scored them both. Nicaragua, 4 shots in that opening half, and they're able to grab a pair of goals themselves. Halftime in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The home side and Nicaragua level, 2 goals apiece.
Concacaf app. No matter where you are or who you're rooting for, you can watch your favorite competitions, teams, and players on the go. Get the latest news on all things Concacaf. Get access to stats, play-by-play, players' information, schedule, and standings. Get instant notifications and alerts. Discover other fans like you. And show your support in social media with our exclusive camera filters. All of that and much more. Take your Concacaf experience to the next level. Download now the official Concacaf app, available on the App Store and Google Play.
ladies and gentlemen, here at the Arnos Sports Complex for this Concacaf Nations League qualifying matchup between...
We welcome you back, Arnos Sports Complex. This is the cricket ground in St. Vincent, and today it welcomes the national team, hoping to find some momentum off the final approach of the opening half. Mike Watts on hand for the call of this one. There is a potential planned substitution in store. The second half begins. Nicaragua 2, St. Vincent and the Grenadines 2. Ball floated forward and handled more completely by Spring and hit from a long way by Acevedo. Bounces into the width. Intriguing maneuver here. So here Mick Burnett's waiting to come in. One of the top players. That's thrashed from distance after the foul had already been committed. Waiting to come in here a minute after halftime. Apparently everyone was aware that that was coming. Aaron Jackson comes off, and Mick Burnett enters. Mick Burnett, regular, around 50 caps. Sometimes it can be a little difficult to get an exact number. One number that I saw in the lead up to this match would make this his 50th cap. Mick Burnett rolled it in front for Spring. Spring the target. Spring got his foot in. That's a little more convincing from Gutierrez. By the same token, Doran Hamlet's available off the bench. Again, depending on the number that you find, as this rolls all the way through and gets flicked aside by Francis, he could become the all-time leader in caps for St. Vincent and the Grenadines today. Rolled up to Chance. Away from Solomon, who scored in the 3rd minute. Alex Anderson scoring a minute before commencement of halftime. Starting and finishing on perfect notes for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Keanu, one of the 3 Real Esteli players in the starting 11 for Nicaragua on the day. Players from Real Esteli, Walter Ferretti, Managua, some of the big clubs in Nicaragua. That header steered aimlessly to the wrong side of the corner flag for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Corner Nicaragua. Kevin Francis meeting that. They've taken it short, and they've teed this up. Keanu. That sat in the air a long time. The initial clearance, Moldskred. He takes contact from Mick Burnett, who's able to win it back and send it the other way. Dips into Smith. Barrera. Bypassing Keanu. Floated that too far. Burnett, chance. Burnett suffers the foul from Barrera. Nations League captain's armband affixed to his arm. That was just a little lazy spring. Bess caught up to slow it down, but Bonilla kept it moving. Had her steer back. Barrera has the support arriving of Moldskred and then lifted up and over by the trailing Barrera. Lopez scoops. Reyes. Lopez. Won by St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Reversing through Joel York. Anderson. Anderson, good ball in behind, was looking for Solomon. Well, we found the dangerous duo for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, haven't we? Anderson spending a couple years in Richmond, Virginia, playing in USL League One for Darren Sawatsky, and then making the move up to North Carolina. Angling through traffic, Bonilla. Recovered by St. Vincent and the Grenadines, only to see Bonilla commit the foul. Anderson. A bit of shielding, a little bit of a push as well from Reyes. Christian Reyes. We're fortunate there wasn't more in that. Stewart. The offside flag plays a role. First time that's happened all game. Bonilla sends back. Sits up in a stiff wind, and Acevedo continues. Acevedo playing across, handled admirably with Moreno coming in. And Chance rolls it out. McBurnett sidesteps the first challenge. He's got Stewart in front of him. McBurnett leaping through another challenge. Stewart now. Nazir McBurnett. And now Barrera charges the other way. Bonilla. Moldskred. That pass through. Requires a little more work from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. By Keanu. Get over Bonilla. That's dynamic and diagonal, and it's also offside. It feels like the crowd's gotten bigger here in St. Vincent. This venue in Kingstown hasn't always seen massive results, but a win over Nicaragua would carry some weight for sure. You could argue that maybe Kendall Mercury was tempting fate a bit, although I count this commentator as one who always appreciates a straightforward response to a question. He was asked about the draw that saw Trinidad and Tobago and the Bahamas join these two teams. And there was optimism avoiding Haiti, Guatemala, even Bermuda. Welcome a number of players with experience in the upper echelons of the English football pyramid. Press was bypassed with ease. Bonilla working on Bess. Bonilla. Even the home crowd appreciated that maneuver. Will flick backwards, comes back to Smith. Perhaps the story in the Bahamas would have been a bit different for St. Vincent and the Grenadines if they had the 6 separate field players. I think it's 7 that weren't even in the 23. They're available today that weren't 3 days ago. Taken back by Keanu. Smith for Acevedo. All the way down and out. Throw for Nicaragua, and changes at the hour mark will commence here. End of the day for Anderson. Scored the equalizer. Also the end for Brad Richards. Javin Sutherland enters. Malcolm Stewart as well. Both of whom play for System 3 Football Club in St. Vincent. Moldskred. Still the same 11 for Nicaragua that started the day. Nino got the initial header to that. Kept alive by Stewart. Back through Bass. Kamal Bass has been absolutely up to the challenge in this game. A lot of good physical tools as well. He strides admirably forward and back. He's used his height to his advantage a handful of times in this as well. Trying to put him under pressure through Bonilla a handful of times. Maybe there's something here for Solomon. Stewart lost his footing. Ball brought down McBurnett. Burnett still after it. Now Stewart's going to chase Gutierrez. Here come changes. Jason Coronel will enter. That's it for the captain, Juan Barrera. And then Arteaga's come on, and Smith has come off. It's a foul. Cornell there playing for Diriangin. And Abner Acuna featuring for the club, both available off the bench in this affair. Driven ball up over the top. Stewart lassoed that down. In on Keanu. Stewart with a deflection. Mick Burnett could have a go from here. Spring and Stewart. Bass, who was stripped on Coronel. Slide in, causes a lot of discomfort. Moldsgred. Handed away by York. Nothing on that at all from Acevedo. St. Vincent and the Grenadines push forward into the attacking half. Play continues. Good read by Lopez. Douglas Forvis started the first fixture. Only beaten by an own goal and still the change in net from Nicaragua in this game. It's well left there by Sutherland. And an injured player behind the play for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It's the ball allowed out by Jazzy Barnum-Bob. This may well act as a cooling break, which was potentially in the cards in the first half as they attend to the injured player for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Well, this is where things get a little odd for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. You used a sub window 60 seconds out of halftime. And not due to an injury. Then you made an additional double sub, Sutherland and Stewart, after McBurnett came in. And now if you need to make a change, that's going to be your last window. When in theory, you could have spread this out over two and given yourself a little more flexibility should you go up or down in the final 20 minutes. Spring. Away from that. Let's see if we can get a better look at this. So he's fully tied up. Player comes in from behind. Had a chance to clear this, but Barnum-Bob continues. Cornelius Stewart. Barnum-Bob, Stewart. Barnum-Bob playing on, Stewart. Able to sweep by Gutierrez. Stewart laid it back. Spring was racing through. Corner. Crowd sensed something happening there. That was really intricate play from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. This undersells how much work Stewart had done in the lead up to it. Corner with a deflection and the opportunity to run the other way. Arteaga. Stewart dips his shoulder, getting by Reyes, remains in pursuit. Acevedo joins. Stewart finally impeded, and the offside flag will end that threat forward to Moreno. Well, this is it for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Bass off. And Chandler comes on.
Substitution for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Number 19, Jose Chandler in the game to replace number 2, Kamal Bess.
Here's the roster change that occurred between the two games. It's left one number in some measure of question. It appears Ponce Hernandez is wearing 19 on this occasion. Junior Arteaga was on the roster, the Juventus player in Nicaragua, wearing 19 in the previous Nations League fixture. There's a ton of contact there. And you can certainly understand why Jaime Moreno is waving this off. Well, there you go. You have to think the AR played a role in that, the amount of fabric being yanked by Moreno. Nearly need to buy a new kit. Speaking of, these are actually new Nicaraguan kits. Clean, really solid. Seen Nations League become a bit of a fashion statement. Mick Burnett. Footing lost. Acevedo clears it away with the onrushing Solomon, who scored back in the 3rd minute. Changes here for Nicaragua. Seeking a winner. That's Abner Acuna and Francisco Flores set to join the proceedings. Flores actually capped one time with Costa Rica and then had the one-time change to Nicaragua. He's gotten far more opportunity to play since making that move in 2018. He played in just one friendly in 2015. Native of Liberia, Costa Rica.
Number 21, Francisco Flores into the game to replace number 3, Oscar
Acevedo off.
And number 15, Abner Acuna, into to replace number 10, Byron Bonilla.
And Bonilla off. Scored the equalizer back in the 22nd minute that made it 1 goal apiece. 2 goals from 2 games in Nations League. Not a bad yield for Byron Bonilla. We'll look ahead for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We'll return here to face Trinidad and Tobago. Should be a fairly exciting matchup. It comes on June the 10th, this upcoming Friday night. Nicaragua will leave St. Vincent and the Grenadines and prepare for their Friday fixture at the Bahamas in Nassau. That'll put us halfway through this group and halfway to finding out who qualifies for the Gold Cup and who qualifies for the preliminary round, who gets promoted to League A, who gets relegated to League C. This is good, Keanu. Moldskred returns. The clearance, Moldskred remains down. The referee didn't give the foul. There are a lot of different ways to become a referee, but garnering 10 caps for Antigua and Barbuda likely gives Ken Pennyfeather just a little more leniency to decide what's a foul and what's not. He's been there. Service here across for Nicaragua. The clearance comes out. Keanu, he'll get a second bite of the apple. He's overtaken. Here comes St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The crowd roars. The ball played through. On the run, Stewart. He's being willed forward. Flores. Ball through. Caught between the legs of the Vincentian player. A little bit of an effort there from Barnum Bob to hold back the on-rushing Hernandez. The whistle's late, the whistle arrives. Free kick, Nicaragua. And with that free kick, the first yellow card of the match. Very foot wrong from Jazzy Barnum Bob. Head snaps back, arm extended up. Flores stands over the ball. It was a set piece from about this distance. Provided the equalizer, nearly this exact spot for St. Vincent and the Grenadines in the first half. Chance far less risky in where he's lined up in goal. This may be a hair further out. And the whistle blows. A player for St. Vincent and the Grenadines got knocked to the ground. And yellow cards come out. Christian Reyes. There are 10 white-shirted players and a white-feathered flock of birds angling on that far side as well. Nevertheless, after the yellow card, the free kick still stands. 81st minute, Nicaragua trying to pull level. Flores right off the wall. Nicaragua won't find a lead here. From the position that St. Vincent and the Grenadines had pulled level previous. Hold-up play is good. Lifted forward by Spring. Rolled ahead, Chandler. Chandler's through. Chandler denied by the feet of Lopez. And the ball touched back by Flores into Lopez's grasp. That had all the makings of a winner for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. He had to hold up just a bit. He got the defender Reyes on the ground. And for Lopez, that was a really awkward save. Coronel. Muldskred. Hernandez. Free kick, Nicaragua. And it doesn't take much to feel Kendall Mercury's anger. Hernandez. Long run. It's grabbed by a collapsing Chance. Two players for St. Vincent and the Grenadines are down. What's more, they don't have a window in theory with which to make changes from here, despite the fact they've only used 4 subs. I don't think for Solomon the pain came from that initial header, rather as he fell back to ground, the back of his head off the field had to be jarring. Drop ball back in play. Chance had possession before the stoppage. He's recovered it again now. St. Vincent and the Grenadines trying to pull level on points atop the group pending the Trinidad and Tobago Bahamas fixture. Play tonight and kick off in about 3 hours. The match coming from the Hazley Crawford Stadium. Nicaragua entering the final third. The missed attempt at a clearance by Sutherland. There's the ball across. The header skims back and over Muldskred. He signs Drew 1-1. St. Vincent and the Grenadines won the other fixture on their home ground, It's 2-2 with 4.5 minutes and what's likely to be a decent amount of stoppage time remaining. Cunha couldn't break it through. Stewart did a wonderful job to recover this, and now he's off to the races. Cornelius Stewart appealing for a foul. It's a goal kick. How much contact is there here? Oh, it's a wonderful tackle. Christian Gutierrez had to be picture perfect, and he was. He got the ball marginally before he makes contact with Stewart. Hernandez. York overplayed his hand. Pressure from Nicaragua, digging deeper and deeper. Free kick, St. Vincent and the Grenadines in their own corner. Looks like spring. Dealing clearly with the heat of summer. Free kick. Clock says 90 seconds to go. Likelihood is far more than that. Nino Flores. Flores making himself available. Henry Nino. Crossfield Keanu. Keanu with options. And that header steered wayward. Hernandez. Burnett, Stewart. Both sides beginning to throw some serious punches here at the end. Out there for Stewart. Five added minutes.
There will be 5 added minutes at the end of the second half. 5 added minutes of play at the end of the second half.
Foul from Hernandez. Play continues. Diagonal angled. And just need Chandler remains down. The referee making sure this isn't a potential head injury. Look at how he runs into this. And as he grabs his face, might be unclear whether or not the head of Chandler collided with that of Francisco Flores, although it appears clear that it hadn't. Keanu. Nino kept it moving. Driven ahead, Coronel. That's going to set up. It's an opportunity, a glorious one at that. Acuna denied by chance. In the final minutes of stoppage time, what in the world is Kevin Francis doing? Chance just saved a point. That is, if they leave with the point. The best opportunities have come from direct play from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. They have 100 seconds still. The ball angled nicely. And with a deflection, it's very kind. It's Chandler. Stewart had gotten all the way into the penalty area. It's a throw here. There's a restlessness. Driven ball, Keanu tried to get to it, an attempt to catch that on the line. That's a goal kick. Final minute. St. Vincent and the Grenadines equalized in the last minute of the opening half. A set piece knotted home by Alex Anderson. Can Nicaragua take all the points the final minute of the second half? This point would move them clear of the Bahamas atop the group, pending the Bahamas and Trinidad and Tobago meeting later tonight. Moldskred scored the second for Nicaragua. Time is fleeting now. Keanu, throw Nicaragua. The referee's taking a first look at the watch, and that's all he needs to see. St. Vincent and the Grenadines score in the third minute, concede the next two to Nicaragua, Bonilla and Moldskred, but Anderson in the final action of the first half able to equalize, and both sides will share the spoils. St. Vincent and the Grenadines 2, Nicaragua 2.
This afternoon, and also remind you, the after party is over on the hard court as soon as we get out of here. Our next game here at the Arnos Sports Complex will be this Friday at 3 p.m. when SVG will take on Trinidad and Tobago, also in the Concacaf Nations League qualifying. Your final score this afternoon, St. Vincent and the Grenadines 2, Nicaragua 2.
Concacaf Nations League, League B, Group C. Massive game for St. Vincent. The Grenadines on their home ground trying to pick up their first point or points of this Nations League cycle, and off to a riveting start. Zinho Solomon from Olex Anderson puts Nicaragua down. It's a frustrating inability to play that from Gutierrez that opens the door for the opener for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Nicaragua would equalize, however. A couple of chances by way of Oscar Acevedo more recently. Stewart had a chance off the post where he could have doubled the money for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but this stick-to-itiveness, outstanding from Bonilla in the 22nd minute. Nicaragua level, 1 goal apiece. A fair bit of physicality along the way. This is a finely struck ball by Moldskred in the 41st minute. Hits the back upright, the stanchion that holds the net up. Makes it 2-1 Nicaragua, and suddenly they have their eyes rather on all 3 points. St. Vincent and the Grenadines would, however, pull that goal immediately back. 7 minutes later, in stoppage time, the diving run in from Anderson. Solomon's service excellent, 2-2 at the half. On to the second half of play, and Nicaragua would create a handful of opportunities that might make you think they'd be able to go get all 3 points on the road. This lifted up and over by Barrera, the captain. That's good defensive play by Reyes. That's a whistle that would go against Nicaragua and Jaime Moreno. Not really able to create all that much. This is the moment that could have provided all 3 for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. They'd create one more really good look. You'd have to give credit to Chandler. He put himself in good spots. He just wasn't quite able to finish, and this was nearly a disaster. 2.5 minutes into stoppage time. And finished 2 goals apiece. So Nations League B Group C now stands like this. Nicaragua on 4 points. The Bahamas on 3. Trinidad still without a point. Bahamas and Trinidad meeting later tonight. St. Vincent and the Grenadine move into 3rd. They pick up their first point and jump Trinidad and Tobago for the time being. For our entire team at home and abroad, Mike Watts saying so long from St. Vincent and the Grenadines.